talked about it before, but I assume now that you have your table, your bright electric light, and as much sunlight as you can access. Get a box of reeds, take all the reeds out of the box, and with each reed, do this. Take a close look at it. Look at the color of the stock and the vamp and the cut of the reed. Look at it through a light so you can see the shape of the cut. Look at the heel for the shape, left to right. Rub your thumb over the reed towards the tip. Notice how it feels. Is it grainy or is it smooth? Put it in your mouth. What the reed in your mouth. Good reeds taste different. Hard to believe, but it's true. You'll notice it. Feel the grain of the vamp in your mouth. Suck on the reed to feel the cell size. See how much air is coming through the reed. Go to the heel and suck some air through that and see how much air is coming through there. In other words, really inspect the reed and just don't slap it on the mouthpiece. This process does not need to take a long time, even though we spent a minute or so talking about it. You can do it in 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But it is more than slapping the reed on the mouthpiece. You're actually getting a feel for what the reed looks like and the potential of the reed and how you're going to work on it once you need to work on it. After wetting the reed, play each one and put them into some piles. Have a pile for the reeds that come out of the box and work perfectly or pretty good. Have another pile of reeds that you think you can work on without too much trouble and get them to work. And have a pile of reeds that really kind of don't work at all. Make sure you don't throw that pile of reeds that don't work at all away, because a lot of times it's just that they don't work because they're too hard or they're really imbalanced. And once you do fix them, sometimes they're your best reeds because they did start out hard. When you're playing a reed, make sure you really feel the reed when you're playing it. Don't just listen to it, but feel the reed vibrate. Is it vibrating more on the left side or the right side? Is it vibrating more near the tip or near the back or the middle? How does it feel vibrating in the mouthpiece? Does it change where the air goes in the mouthpiece? Notice all these things with the reed. So we have reeds that play right out of the box, and we're going to talk about how to solidify them and adjust them in a minor way so that they'll last for a long time. The first thing we want to do is make sure both sides of the tip are balanced. And we do that by testing each side of the reed. I don't know if you can hear it. It's very subtle, but the right side is duller than the left side. So we want to take some material off the right side so it sounds like the left side. Simply by balancing the tip, you're going to get a lot more reeds at work. Some people like to flatten the back of the reed. That's not something I do because I use a ligature that locks the reed down on the mouthpiece pretty well. What they do is take a flat bastard file and rub the reed across it, or a piece of sandpaper on a really flat, scientifically flat surface, and run the reed across that. You need to do that dry, with the reed dry. At this point, with the reeds right out of the box, close the pores, both at the heel and on the vamp, by rubbing them with your thumb or reed brush. If you use sandpaper, make sure it's like at least 1,000 grit, wet and dry, so that you're not making a big change to the reed. Take a file or a knife or your fingernail, any other device, and close the pores at the heel of the reed. Now you should be getting very few bits of air out of the pores when you test the pores of the reed. Play each reed for a few minutes. They will be different tomorrow, but perhaps still very good. Set the reeds on a piece of glass. If you don't have a flat surface, turn them upside down and place them on the stock. Again, reeds have a memory, and they want to go back to their original position. That little piece of cave that was sitting in the Var region of France wants to be what it was in France, and we're changing that reed. We're making it into something new. So expect changes from reeds until you get them really worked in. Play the reed again in a day or so and reassess what might need to be done to them, if anything. And if they're ready for your working reed box, give the vamp another rub, put them in your working reed box, and test them as you play them on the rehearsals, on practice, and on the job or on the concert hall. Now we're going to talk about the reeds that need some work and the rejected reeds. Basically, we're going to do the same thing with both piles. So you can put the two piles together, or you can make your life easier and do one pile at a time. Go through the same routine as you did with the reeds that were good out of the box. In addition, look at the reed through a light. Test it with your fingers and play it to see and hear where the reed is restricted. With Tom's reed system, a knife or a file, take the cane off where the restriction is. You are trying to balance the reed completely from top to bottom. Again, for me, a balanced reed is one that vibrates all the way from the top to the bottom and doesn't stop anywhere. In this manner, the whole potential of the reed to create overtones is achieved. So in other words, if the back of the reed isn't vibrating for some reason, you're not getting the lower vibrations. Keep in mind, if you take material off near the stock, you make the tip relatively harder. In the same token, if you take material off the right side of the reed, you make the left side relatively harder, even though in every case you're making the whole reed a tad softer. So that's what balance is about. You got to be careful if you're using a knife not to gouge cane. And when I say gouge cane, I mean, as you're working with the knife, it's okay to do this, but if you do that, you stop the vibration there. So the reed is only vibrating from here to here. The vibration is stopped from here to the rest of the reed. It ruins the reed. You might as well throw it away. So when you're working with a knife, always make sure that the knife is not sharp like an oboe knife, and take nice smooth movements with it. This is a good time to remind you that it's easy to take cane off, impossible to put it back on. So be careful. A little bit at a time is what you want to be doing. You don't want to ruin a reed, make it too soft because you took too much off. Now my experience is, if you have taken too much off, you can shorten the reed by clipping it, but that changes the relationship of the length of the reed. And the reed vamp or cut should be the same length as the window on the mouthpiece. So when you clip it, you make it shorter and you put the stock into the window of the mouthpiece, which isn't really a good thing to do. So you have to remake the stock too. Just keep messing with the reed till it feels better. Keep rubbing that cane. I've seen guys that have been working on their reeds for 2 or 3 weeks and they're almost black. They've been rubbed so much. A lot of musicians will take grease from behind their ear, rub it into the reed, grease from the side of their nose, rub it into the reed. I think some players actually put dirt on their reed. But again, what you're trying to do is make the reed something other than cane, something that doesn't change every time the weather changes. That's what we're trying to do here, is make the reed work in every condition, every weather condition, every humidity condition, every temperature condition. And the only way to do that is to make a piece of cane another material. Continue this process until your reeds no longer need adjustment. You should have a reed that'll last a long time, play well, and play pretty much the same in every condition. It's also important to learn to play reeds that don't play perfectly, because it's not a perfect world, and you're not going to always have a perfect reed. So do the best you can, get as close as you can. If the reed doesn't play perfectly, it's your job to make it work. You also need to know when to discard a reed. If your reed's your best friend and you've had it a long time and it's dying and you don't want to let it go, you have to let it go. If you've worked on a reed for a long time and you know that it's never going to work, you have to let it go. We can only do so much. And we make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Beginners make mistakes, more mistakes. Advanced players make mistakes. So if a reed's done, accept it, move on. There's plenty of very good cane in this world. And with the adjustment techniques that you get out of Tom's book and Vaccaro Music Services and all the different books on how to make reeds, you're going to find out that you're going to get so many more reeds than you ever thought you could that you're going to be really happy. A word on synthetic reeds. Leger and Forest Stone, and I assume other companies, have come out with synthetic reeds of different types of material. I usually keep one of the correct size for me in my reed box. I assume you all have reed boxes that hold 10 reeds. Maybe you have 3 or 4 boxes that hold 10 reeds, but you should have reed boxes. I always keep one of the synthetic reeds in my box just in case weather conditions are so poor that that's the only thing that works. I know a lot of people that play them all the time and sound great on them. So the fact that I don't use them all the time is not a standard for anybody, because there are plenty of people that sound great on them. They can be adjusted. I don't think you can adjust them as much as cane reeds. And the people that tend to use synthetic reeds tend to just find the reed that works right for them and put it on their instrument. Keep in mind, like cane reeds, they do fatigue, and it's important not to play them past their lifespan. I hope this presentation has helped you and opened your eyes to the possibility of better reeds. It has encouraged you to be responsible for your own reeds and not just put a reed on a mouthpiece. There are mouthpiece, reed, and ligature articles on my website you might want to read. They're added to occasionally, and you might want to sign on to my irregular, email broadcast. You can check with your local music store to purchase Andreas Eastman products and instruments. Remember to be happy with where you're at musically while you're trying to get to where you want to be. Enjoy the journey. Happy music making.